So, so you find that funny, huh?
I don't know if it's funny, but it was a bit of a recollection that I had, if I overlooked it is the word, but yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Anyway, hey, we're back.
yeah.
Um,
Took
today,
another. We've been going every other week for the last 4 weeks now.
well, we're busy
Um,
people.
yeah. Well, yeah, and yeah, as I will lean in here, it was my fault. Well, not my fault. It's my
No, it
mom's
wasn't
fault
your fault. No,
that
it's my fault.
that we missed last week's podcast. We lost a listener last week, so our numbers might go down here eventually. But for those who have, for those who know me and haven't heard yet, I lost my mother um, June 28th, I think it was. I don't know what the date was
Yeah.
actually. I think it was 28th, a Saturday, 28th, 29th. Um,
Had she been
got
ill?
to she had been fighting lung cancer
Oh, for
for
the
the last year and a half, and it was to the point where she was just doing immunotherapy, which is just maintaining. They couldn't beat the cancer, so they were just using immunotherapy. But my stepfather believes that it was a blood clot that probably did her in. She was complaining of leg pain and at breakfast then all of a sudden couldn't breathe. She collapsed, and that was essentially the end.
Hmm.
She was still living enough when a 911 got there to put her on oxygen, and her heart was beating again. And then so that's when he called me from the hospital, and my brother, we were deciding to, take her off the ventilator, because the doctors didn't think. But by the time we even decided, she had already passed. So,
Hmm.
fortunately for us, we didn't have to necessarily, we had made the decision already at that point. But, so I'm very impressed with our national transportation system. Now I'm lucky enough to live here in Charlotte, which is a major hub for American Airlines. But I got that call roughly 9 o'clock that morning, and I was in Fort Myers, Florida, at my mom's house by 5 o'clock that evening.
Were
So
you able to secure a fare,
they
not
don't do
the George
bereavement.
Costanza funeral?
Yeah, they don't do bereavement fares anymore. At least American Airlines does. And I did check after I got there. It wasn't tremendously bad. I think it was like $450 round trip.
Oh, that's comfortable.
And I flew in and out of Tampa, so I started to rent a car and drive 2 hours south of Fort Myers, because the regional airport they have there is expensive to get in and out of, and the small budget airlines only fly in and out of there mainly on Monday and Friday, so that really didn't play into matters. So very impressed. I was mainly down there to help my stepfather. He was all alone at that point. His family all lives in California and Arizona, and of course my brother's in Northern California. So I was the closest relative. So I just jumped on a plane, got down there, and there wasn't a whole lot to do. My mother elected to be cremated, and she'll be interned in a church in actually San Marcos, California. So, beyond going to the funeral home and starting to take care of paperwork and things of that nature, there wasn't a whole lot to do. But I did feel better about being around my stepfather. He's not in the best of health himself. And so that worked out pretty well. Unfortunately, his birthday was the next day, but
Hmm.
so people were calling him to wish him happy birthday, and he's like, "Well, my wife just died," and they're like, "Oh, yeah, that's horrible." So this is, I've been blessed that this is my first major uh, loss in my family. My grandparents passed, but fairly early in my life, except for well, I guess my grandmothers lived into my adult life, but they were both at a point where it their life was not.
Expected. Yeah.
Yeah, it was, and kind of like my mother was kind of on that same spectrum. She constantly warned us that, oh, this will be the last time I see you, or things of that
How
name. We're
old
like,
was
oh,
she?
be 80, 82, 83,
Yeah.
something in
That's the
that range.
wheelhouse.
Actually, 84. Now that you mention it,
Yeah,
because she was born in
84 is
41.
that's a benchmark.
Yeah, so she certainly didn't. I wouldn't think had any regrets in life for that matter. She didn't express any of that. She had, she when she had remarried, she traveled the world with him, and so that was one of the big things she wanted to do in life. So I just find it was funny that the show we recorded that week was you kind of saluting to her with your drink because she thought she was. Oh, it says every time she watches you, you're having a beer. I said, well, I said it's just because he's out of school is why. So, but she never got to hear that episode, so it
No,
wasn't
I
posted
was,
yet
shoot.
before she passed. So
Well,
I
I'm
don't want to
sorry.
be a Debbie Downer here. Yeah, and I get it. I'm doing, everybody, my whole family, even my stepfather is doing much better these days. It was a tough, day or two to kind of accept it. The only time I really had troubles when I had to tell someone new that she had passed, and that's when
Yeah.
I had to call her brother. Um, I thought he lives in Florida as well. And I thought, well, maybe he already found out from my stepfather. And, I called him. He was joking around, telling me, what he was doing. I'm like, oh, crap. I got to tell this guy,
I got to
his
pop this guy's
sister.
balloon.
Yeah, exactly. That is a horrible feeling. I'm in the airport, of course. And, yeah, here I am tearing up, trying not, in front of it. Luckily, there was a little alcove I was able to step into at the airport and have a good conversation with him. But that was the only time that really, and when of course, when my wife consoled me and stuff, that's when it hit me. But beyond that, like I said, my kids were asking me, and I said, you kind of, when something is logical or rational, I rarely get upset. It's when things are irrational or illogical that that's when I get mad at, when someone acts irrationally or illogically, it upsets me. And so, if someone dies or an animal dies or something unexpectedly, that
Yeah.
usually, is more
Well, the pain of death
emotional.
is more painful. It's still pain.
Yeah.
It's the pain of loss.
Yes.
And
Right.
yeah. But when
So,
when like my parents were 86 and 85, I think, or somewhere in there, like, and I was in my, I don't know, 40s or 50s, you kind of expect it, but it's still the pain of death. It's still that
yeah.
separation. So
So,
again, I am
so
sorry,
no,
and we
like
send
I
our
said,
condolences.
we'll have some services for probably one in Florida and one in California, but by virtue of the cremation, you're afforded time to
Yeah.
schedule those things and plan them better. So,
What
but
about
thank you for their well wishes.
yeah. Well, yeah. Well,
You
glad.
you said the show must go on. I said, no, Dave, I'm down here with, seeing my mother at the funeral home. And you're like, no, let's do it now. Turn the microphones
Well, I
on.
was thinking maybe we could do a remote podcast, and toast her
From
at a wake.
from the funeral home. I'm here live at the funeral home. Do you like looking at a dead person? Not like, do you can't, I mean, what's your feelings on that?
So we had I mean, how do I say this? We had a young person die at school recently,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
and Sheila made me go to the viewing. I see in my business before this, in the financial services, I'd come in and my secretary Tammy, I'd go, okay, on Monday, who's dead and who's going to
Yeah.
the nursing home.
Right. Right.
So I was going to funerals almost weekly.
Yeah.
This got tiring, but
People were dying to be your customer.
dying to get out. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird. I feel like I'm obligated though. I don't know why, but this young person, I made a point. I think it's out of respect to the family member. I don't know because
Yeah, that's kind of. I had never, when I first started dating my wife, she's Catholic, and until that point, again, fortunately, I have not had to go to a lot of funerals in the day, and none were close relatives or anything. But her grandmother passed away, and I flew to Omaha to be with her, and to be a support or what have you, to
sure.
be a good boyfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And she said, "Hey, do you mind being a pallbearer?" I said, "No, whatever you need, you know." And they said, "Okay, well, you know." The morning came, and they said, "All
It's
right,
going to
you
be
know, the
open
pall."
casket, the pallbearing
Well,
stuff.
I know nothing at this point, right? About the Catholic services or anything like that. And they said, "We need to go down to the funeral home." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't know why, you know, because I'm a pallbearer or something." And we come in, it's a little chapel, and there's the open casket, and I'm like, ugh, you know, kind of like I have to be, you know, I'm like, oh boy, I'm not ready. I wasn't really mentally prepared for that.
Right.
And then, so they do a little service before they put them in the hearse to take them to the church to do the service.
Right.
And right at the end, they said, "Now, you know, we'll form a line and you can pay your respects to and I'm like, oh, and I'm like, so I stood in line. I had to stand in front of the casket, you know, by myself. I'm like, I don't know you, lady, but
Yeah, you kind of have this. Okay, if I sit here long enough, I think that's enough.
you're right. You're right. What is the right amount of time for me to pay respects here? You know? So no, I was gonna say something very
No, no,
disrespectful.
don't. I get it. It is
Uh, so I
you
popped the
think of
gold
yeah. Hey,
tooth
wait a
out.
minute. You're not going to use that watch. I mean, I might as well let it go to waste. Um, I get uncomfortable when you go to a funeral. Usually, it happens with a young person. I've seen it several times, and they'll put stuff in the casket. It starts off. I think. Let's not dwell on this too much. Did you get the time,
No,
by the way?
no, I did not.
I
But oh,
think I had.
yes, I did. Oh, it was like 7:06, I
That's
think.
exactly
So,
what I wrote down.
all
7:06.
right.
So it starts off very genuine, or it may be a favorite, cuddle toy or
Right, right.
thumbsticks or something like that. And then before you know it, you go to the casket. And it's like, what are you moving out or something?
Getting rid of your getting rid of stuff that the trash guy
It's like,
won't take.
come on,
There's some boards in there,
yeah,
and
he liked that skateboard. So I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah. Piece of furniture sitting there. Oh, his favorite chair.
It was his favorite blanket. But anyway, so I don't like that, but it is what it is. People grieve.
Yeah,
You
everybody
can't get in
deals
their
with it.
head. You got to
And
respect that.
I did say some inappropriate jokes to my brother early on. That's what I told you when you asked how I was doing. I was like, I'm already on to the inappropriate jokes. So,
Well, yeah, and we've addressed why we do that. It's not,
well, it's our coping mechanism.
yeah, it's
So,
immature. But anyway.
well, that's true. I'll give you that.
All right. Well, I'm glad that you made the trip and you were able, you're blessed that you have the means to be able to pick up the phone and say, I'm going.
Yeah,
That's something to be
yeah.
thankful
My
for.
wife took care of all the travel plans. By the time I got to the airport down there, she had me a car rental lined up. I just walked to the counter and, she got me the plane tickets,
I'm Woody.
everything. So
They're like, right this way, sir.
you're right. This it was a well. She sent me the reservation first, and it was for Fox Car Rental, and I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, I've never heard of that one, but yeah, actually, they're around different airports in the country, and she says her sister had used them, so and actually, it worked out just fine.
It's a
So
little tiny red car with a tail on the back of it.
yeah,
All
yeah, I
right.
wasn't exactly sure what to expect.
All right. So we didn't do it that week. Have we done this since I've been back from California?
No, that was
Okay.
last week. You were just about to leave for your California vacation. So
Yeah.
you better watch the color of your thing
Yeah,
tonight.
I'm
They're
like
gonna they're
green
gonna
all
bring you to Alligator Alcatraz because
yeah, I
you
think
look
I've
like
got
an alien.
jaundice or something.
You look like an alien.
Whee! So we're back from California, and we saw the pictures that we went out there. Um,
Yeah, I saw the picture. Thank you.
yeah, it was a good trip. Our kids did not progress to the next level, which
Oh,
is it's a competitive marketplace. I mean, once you
yeah.
get to the nationals, there's 6,000 kids were at the state of Florida competition, 16,000 at the Anaheim
Wow.
national, and of course they're not all competing against 16,000 kids, but
Right.
it went from 60 participants at state level to about 160 at their level at national. So
All right.
competition, and Sheila was a good doobie. She went and volunteered to be a judge on two of the days, once for middle school and once for high school. and she was just blown away by the level of skill for the middle schoolers. Some of the middle
Right.
schoolers that spoke were like, "Holy cow!"
Yeah, I can barely write and speak well now, so I couldn't imagine what I
Well,
was like in middle school.
yeah, and I did it last year as a judge, and there's some really amazing, talented kids,
Did you
and
get one of those buzzers like when it's really bad, like
a
they do on
trap door
TV?
opens up, and they just,
Yeah, exactly. That would be the benefit of being a judge, volunteering to be a judge, getting to do
yeah, I think
that.
that'd be fun. Well, that and the snack bag, you get a snack bag
Oh,
and
well,
gift cards. I think she got gift cards too. But
wow.
anyway, so the kids performed their stuff on Monday. The young man Monday morning, the gal Monday afternoon, and then we have to wait till callbacks, to get the next level. And so they publish them at 5 o'clock in the morning on this little app. So of course I'm up at 5 o'clock looking at the thing, and their name wasn't on it. Then you go through this whole. I got to check it like 40 times to make
You
sure
make
that I'm looking.
sure.
Yeah, because I don't want to tell them no, you didn't make it, and then they're like, "Hey,
And
I
then they
was I was
miss.
on there."
You're like, hey, nobody made it. We're on the early flight home, kids, because
Yeah, and I'm like,
you
"You
want to
check
get
it,
home.
you check it,
Oh, darn it.
confirm it."
Oh, darn it. Oh, did
So
I miss your name on there?
I was on the next page, but they were not there. At least I hope they weren't. But then we had to stay. Our rooms were paid for. The flights, we
Yeah.
couldn't change the flights, and so they did some workshops. And then Wednesday we rented a car to go to the beach. Anaheim's probably 30 minutes to the Pacific Coast Highway. So we went to Laguna
It's called the
first.
PCH, buddy.
I know. I was for the
Okay.
kids in the hall. They wouldn't
Yeah.
pick up on that, but kids in the back of the room, excuse me. But we started at Laguna. But the point was, Sheila found a sweet deal with Avis for like $50. So
Oh,
we have
that's
to
nice.
walk from the hotel. She and I at 7:30 in the morning. We're walking down to Avis, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, this sucks." It was about a mile,
Right.
and so we get down there, and the guy gives us a Jeep, a 4-door hardtop Jeep, a
Okay.
cool
Right.
Jeep. And I'm like, ah, crap. So I get to the parking lot and I go, "Honey, we can't do this." And she goes, "What do you mean? This is cool. We're going to the beach. We got a Jeep, we're in
Right. Right.
California." And I said, "It doesn't meet the rollover requirement for the county." And so,
Oh, you were pulling regs on her. Okay.
yeah, well, I was living up to my role as the fun sucker.
Yes. Yeah, the fun busters.
So
Yeah.
I walked back in there. I said, "Sir, you're going to think I'm stupid, but we have, 'cause God forbid we get into
Yeah,
an
I know. I know. Yeah.
and then everything is null and void because you got the car that you're not supposed to get." And so this is how anal I am, but they're not my kids.
Right.
So,
No, no, no. I think the parents would appreciate you're looking after them. So.
so we got a Subaru, a big,
Oh,
a
yeah,
big,
big.
big SUV, all-wheel drive Subaru, which in the end was better. It was way more comfortable. Had a third seat, and so we didn't tell the kids till on the way back, and they were like, well, this is more.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I tell them, oh, I said
No,
we weren't going
no
to say.
having side conversations.
Well, she's busting me. I told them we weren't going to say anything, but I couldn't keep the secret, so I told them.
No, that was good to rub it in their face.
Yeah, you
Right.
could have had
Hey,
a Jeep, but you're a loser.
but I said no. So you went
Anyway,
to Laguna Beach?
yeah, we went to Laguna Beach,
Okay.
which is what we learned later. There's a mountain range that goes all the way to the coast. I don't know what mountains it is,
I
but
don't know.
it's
I
part of the.
should know.
Someone said on California that most of the beaches are flat, like it is in Florida.
Hmm.
But Laguna is at the point where the mountain runs into the ocean. So it looks like northern Italy on the Mediterranean. It's just gorgeous. Um,
Cool. I can't say, as much as been out there, I can't. I'm sure I went there at one point in time, but it does not stick out in my
well,
mind.
so they have this boardwalk. There's people playing beach volleyball. It's
Yeah.
not when I say quote unquote beach. There's a beach and it's a
Right.
beautiful beach, but there's seaweed in the water.
Yeah, the Pacific sucks, man.
Well,
I
and it's
swear.
68 degrees and there's
Yes.
rocks formation, so it's not a real.
Yeah, I used to.
It's
My
beautiful.
parents would take us swimming. We went to. Can't think of the name of the beach off the top of my head, but if someone said it, I'd remember. But yeah, I used to get seaweed wrapped around me. It was cold as shit in the water,
Yeah.
and it was not enjoyable comparable to when I went to the beaches in Daytona. So
Well, but it was outstanding vista wise, and so
yeah, and it's a huge beach too, right? I mean, it's like 100 yards to the water from the edge of the
well, that's
beach.
more like Huntington Beach, but let's
Well, maybe
let's
that
that's
sounds
probably where you
okay.
were because it's more
Yeah.
supposedly that's where surfing was founded. But anyway, so we had a California moment. We're walking down the boardwalk and we look up ahead. Picture a circle tarp, like a canvas tarp
Mm-hmm.
that's probably 30 foot. What would that be diameter? 30 foot across?
15, yeah, 30-foot diameter, 15-foot radius
Whichever one from left to right, all the way across. I can't remember. Was it 30?
diameter.
Yeah. So, and then there's pie shapes, like a pizza pie, and
Like
they're
you build a
different.
tarp. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a different color panels. And
Right.
so we get up to it, and every one of the little pie shapes, 8 to 10 of them, people are laying on them on their backs. And so I'm like, what is this? So I'm thinking maybe it's yoga. They're doing some sort of yoga
Oh
on the
yeah.
beach.
Yeah.
Well, there's a guy sitting on the boardwalk. Everyone's kind of at his feet in this big tarp, and they're laughing. They're just dying laughing. I'm like, what the
Did they
hell
get a
is this?
glimpse of your white ass walking down the beach? Is that,
I'm
is
like,
that
I got my
what
shirt on. And so I look at the guy and says, is this laughing therapy? And he's like,
Oh, so you actually talked to the guy.
yeah. And it was like he was a sheep herder or something. He wouldn't say anything right. He just kept
Ah,
laughing. So it was laughing therapy. Have you ever heard of it?
no.
It's a real thing. He's charging these people to do this, but I remember seeing it
Unless
on
you're
TV.
laughing for
Well,
a humorous, if you just fake laughing, how is that therapy?
well, apparently they get into some euphoric. It's like an arousal thing that gets started and then they can't stop, and it causes relief from stress. Okay, so hold on. We have a new employee, by the way.
Oh,
We've
yeah.
we've hired a Gen Z assistant, and we're going to talk about this. But let's see if she knows what this is. Alexa, volume 10. Alexa, what is laughing therapy?
Laughter therapy is a holistic approach that uses humor and laughter to promote mental and emotional well being. It involves techniques like laughter yoga, humor therapy, and laughter meditation to reduce stress and improve overall mood.
Yeah, so
Oh, wow. Her name is still Alexa, though.
yeah, but
Put her up to the microphone for a second. Alexa, order diapers. She didn't hear me.
so Alexa, are you a Gen Zer?
Yeah, she shut up
Alexa,
now.
are you a Gen Zer?
I'm not part of any generation. I'm just here to help you laugh your way through life.
Oof.
But you sound like you're from Gen Z.
Well, I'm more like Gen Z's cool older sibling who knows all the latest memes but still remembers dial up internet.
Oh,
So you don't have to
whatever.
talk. Can we keep talking to you, Alexa? Gosh, I said her name.
That's all right.
Of
Apparently,
course. I'm all
Of-
ears. Or
All
should I say,
right.
all microphones. And ready for more chat. What's on your
Yeah.
mind?
you get anything?
I need diapers.
What do you need is diapers.
Not me.
All
I'm
right.
still waiting for you to get a shipment of diapers one day. Like, what the hell?
Anyway, so she's kind of hip.
All right. Did
So
you do that on purpose?
the therapy?
No, the new voice.
No, she. I woke up the other day and she started talking. I'm like, well,
Oh,
what's going on? And she says, well, we can update me if you want to update me to a new voice.
okay.
So I said, yeah, let's do that. We need a new hire. But anyway, so laughing therapy was just a barrel of laughs. And then we went from there. This is kind of a cool story. So we got back in the car and we drove to the next beach, which was Newport Beach. And Newport Beach is really an inland port. That's where um the
Long
America's
Beach
Cup.
port. Oh,
Well,
Long Beach and all that.
no, it's Newport Beach. It's where the
Okay.
America's Cup was out there, I think, years ago. So it's a big port, and people
Okay.
live in this, inland seaway, and then it goes out to the ocean. There is a beach, but the port is pretty big significance.
Right.
So there's this little area called Balboa Peninsula, and
That
so
sounds familiar.
we're walking. It's beautiful street. Um, we're walking by this house and it's listed for sale by Caldwell Banker Realty. And I've got a friend client that works here in where I live. And so I took a picture of the street address, the street number on the house, and the house with the sign. And I texted her and said, "Hey, Sheila and I are thinking about a second home. Will 5 million get this done?" And so did she call us back with the price or you looked it up?
You just use Zillow.
I think Sheila looked it up.
Yeah, use Zillow as you walk down the
22
street.
$22,500,000.
I say 5 million won't get you the garage.
It'd give me a down payment. So we figured at 5 million down and no interest would be $50,000 a month.
That's
So
it's just insane, isn't it?
8,000 square foot home built on a 6,000 square foot lot.
I
I don't know how they do it.
yeah, did you happen to come across Palos Verdes at all while you were traveling around? It's kind of the big mountain area right up against the beach there.
No.
Probably north of where you were. Regardless, my grandparents moved out there in the early 70s and they bought a place on Palos Verdes. It wasn't a big home, probably 2,000 square feet, if that.
Yeah.
And I think they paid like $30,000 for it. And my grandmother sold it in the 90s, I think for 300,000. I should look it up now. It's probably well in the 3 millions by now. So,
Well, we jumped so that beach we left, but we went over to In-N-Out Burgers and had lunch.
is that worth it?
You know, no is the short answer, but the better answer, it's the best value as far as dining out because
Okay.
everything's so bleeding expensive.
Yes.
It's just a burger joint,
Yeah. But people rave about it all the time, like it's
well,
the
I
best
think they're drunk
burgers.
or something,
Okay. Well, that'd play
it's
right into
def-
my hand.
it's definitely fresh because they're just burning through so many burgers. You're getting fresh food.
Right.
And it's clean, and the places we went to, it is what it is, but it was comparable pricing to here in Clay County, which I was astonished. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
So then we left there and we went to Huntington Beach, and Huntington Beach is like Fort Lauderdale, Clearwater, and Daytona Beach rolled up into one.
Okay.
It's the big deep sand from the boardwalk. There's a pier.
That sounds familiar as well. Like I said, I just can't, the name escapes me, the one we would go to all the time. It had a pier and everything. I
Yeah,
just can't
that's
think of
probably
it.
Huntington Beach. And they had they didn't have Ron John surf shops, but there were like these formal surf shops all over the
Yeah.
place. And a lot of kids, a lot of bikinis, a lot of young people riding their bikes up. Young people,
Yeah.
whereas Laguna Beach were people my age walking their dogs,
Gotcha. All
wearing
right. People with money.
yeah, pretty much probably. But
So,
so anyway, so that was kind of the highlight of the trip was going over to the beaches, and we got back in time to go to our award ceremony, which we didn't get any money. Or we didn't get anything, so it didn't
get
really
any
matter.
money.
Yeah, and
That's what's all about, the money.
We did go to Disneyland one night for dinner to Disney Springs,
Yeah, it's kind of the
Yes.
same as what's the
like
island?
Buena Vista or whatever it used to be. But
Yeah.
anyway, good trip.
Cool.
I don't want to go again.
Do you
But
still hate California after your visit?
well, I have to say I don't have anything to judge against. I've been to Van Nuys in Los Angeles before years ago, but the people in Anaheim that we met, and we met some people that were residents that worked at the hotel, were
Mhm.
very genuine, very kind, courteous. They seemed to be like-minded. We spoke kind of surface political stuff going on in the
Right.
state, and very much, I think they were probably more conservative area that we were in. But we met a lady that was our server on the last day for breakfast, and she told us that she'd been to Ocala to the
No,
villages.
really.
And I asked her, "Did you bring your loofahs?" And she knew about it, but
Everybody knows. They've made a documentary about that place.
yeah. So she
Uh,
was a sweetheart. I mean, I could see she felt like someone that we identified with, and it was professional, and it was
Yeah,
nice.
I think that's the case no matter where you go.
Yeah,
And like I said, you were made to think we're an extremely polarized world, but you remove politics from it, and most of us can get along.
Well, I'll go one step further. You just treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yeah.
And unless you're an asshole, I mean, that's a different story.
Hello.
But I have this thing I do now, the thank you philosophy, and I just tell people, thank you and thank you for what you've done, and they appreciate it,
Yeah, and if you talk with a smile on your face, it'll go a long way too.
Yeah.
So, not a sneer.
I did have a flight story, but I don't want to hog the flight home.
No, please. It'll be out of date. I started with a bummer. Is it a funny story?
Yeah. So,
we got plenty of time.
Well, my theory about certain people shouldn't fly is still holds true.
Still holds true. Okay. Yeah.
A lot of dogs.
What airline were you on again? Southwest?
Southwest. Yeah,
All
Southwest.
Right. And well, that does bring a certain clientele to it.
Well, they haven't taken away the seating situation yet.
I thought they did have reserved seats.
Well,
by the
they
time
announced it, but then they said when you do the fine print, it doesn't go into effect until 26.
Okay.
So, 2 of our kids checked bags, and that went smooth. They had to pay $35. I have to say everything went real smooth. Sheila is my person that puts all the boarding passes on her phone and
takes care of all that stuff. Right.
But the leg home to Jacksonville, we had 2 full flights on the way home. With the first leg, she and I got a space between us.
Oh, that's sweet.
And we snagged that. We were like high-fiving each other.
Right.
Second leg, I had to sit.
Did you maintain that by making gross sounds and stuff as others approached you?
Well, we sat all the way in the back, and then I stood up. And people was like, "Oh God, look at that ogre! I don't want to sit."
Yeah, that's what I was saying. So you did put some effort into dissuading people from.
Yeah, I thought we had it on the second leg too because I was really nice to the steward, and she took a shining to me a little bit. And she came. I sat in the middle, and she stood right there in that aisle seat, kind of her butt to me.
Right.
But she was blocking. I looked at Sheila. Right. She's blocking for us. She's blocking. But then there was so many people.
Oh,
we couldn't get around it. So this woman gets on the plane. She sits right next to me, and she's 52. And I'm the talky guy, but I've become this person where I'm really tired. It's the last leg. I don't want to talk to anybody. Sheila's over against the window, and this woman orders a Voodoo IP.
Oh, IPA. Yeah,
IPA.
Voodoo Ranger.
Yeah, Voodoo Ranger. So I'm like, this isn't good. And she pulls out a tablet. It looks like it was a child's tablet. And she's funneling through the things to find a movie she wants to watch.
Right.
And so she pulls the steward over and she goes, I can't get on the internet. I can't get on the internet to the Wi-Fi. And so the steward goes, well, we're having problems. We can't get our charge system to work half the time either. So I look over, I made the mistake, and I said, first world problem. You can't get on the Wi-Fi to watch your stupid video. I didn't say that part, but I said that sounds like a first world problem.
Right.
And so as soon as I did that opened the channel.
Pandora's box was opened.
Yeah. So you ever talk to someone that touches you all the time?
No.
She was a toucher. So
like a knee toucher? Like
no, it's just like she hit me the whole time. She's making a point. Hey, that thing I'm talking about. And she would hit me in the arm. Right. I think at one point I said, I think I just clocked you at 62 touches per minute. We cut it out, But she was telling me that she was leaving Nashville. She had to get away. Her parents owned a place in Sawgrass. They're deceased, but the house is still there. And I said, well, where are your kids? And she goes, I don't care. I've divorced my husband. He's got them for the weekend. I just need to get away because I'm stressed out. And I'm like, okay. And so I said, listen, and subconsciously I said, this conversation's over. I don't want
to. Unfortunately, I'm very good at sending subliminal messages that say, don't talk to me.
Well, Sheila's better. You and Sheila would get along great. So she's like, Sheila's elbowing me like, how does it feel? How does it feel? These people are talking to you. So anyway, there's more to it, but it was the same.
I always do that move like, that's good.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of where I was, but she wasn't. She was like, no,
some people will not pick up on the fact you're not. And then I kick myself when I say something like, oh, I remember that. And I'm like, oh, now I just opened a door for some additional
she started talking about education.
So
it was not good.
I don't know what it is about traveling. I do not like, my kids annoy the hell out of them because I'll start a conversation with anybody but when I travel, I generally don't like to. I don't know why that is. I think the problem is if the fear that I'll sit, outside the plane, the fear is they're going to end up sitting next to me. I don't want to talk on the flight. It's a long flight, and it's hard to talk on a plane with the noises and everything else going on. I don't like people listening to my conversation or having to listen to my conversations. So I generally don't even family wise and stuff. I don't have long conversations on the plane. So
I used to like it, but there's a comedian. I don't know if it might be Brian Reagan that talks about. You ever notice when you're flying, everybody's like the owner of some international company. They're like the president and founder of all these. It's like one-upmanship when you get on a plane. So I made the mistake. I said, "So what do you do?" She goes, "Oh, I'm in development. I got 42 projects going on in Nashville. I'm just up to here." And I'm like,
and that's why I'm flying coach on Southwest.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh yeah. How about first class on Delta? Get off my plane.
A private jet. What's going on here? Yeah,
when she said development, I was like, I don't even want to know. My old day would have been like, oh, development. What are you talking about? And I'm like, no.
Can I get in on this?
Yeah,
but
she had
I did see. We got a few minutes left, and I found this kind of. So I had a long drive between Tampa and Fort Myers, and then of course back up.
Yeah, that's a fun drive.
It's not bad. It's just 75 straight away. I avoided all the tolls though because I didn't want to have to pay for one of those transponders and get ripped off on that. Yeah, we'll charge you $5 a day on top of the tolls you're going to ring up along the way. So I'm like, whatever. I put in the Waze thing, no tolls, and it avoids them all. But so I'm going up the road and I'm following this up ahead's like a pickup truck, and it's towing one of those not a pop-up trailer, but one that's already popped up like a teardrop trailer or whatever. Fairly large, and it's got the spare tire on the back, and the spare tire has one of those covers on it with a saying on it, and it says, "I hate to pull out," and it has a picture of the camper leaving the campground.
Yeah,
but obviously it's the pun.
But
then I drive by, he's got no kids in the car, so that's BS, man. You can't have that unless you got like a crap load of kids sitting in the van with you.
That doesn't make sense.
I felt like rolling down the window and going, "Where are the children?" And him going, "What are you talking about?"
I don't get that part of the joke. Yeah. Well, the things that people put on their public, display.
That is bumper stickers include. We were talking about that recently, right? People, what was it?
I saw a new, the family bumper stickers that tell all the kids and the dads.
Oh, yeah. How many are in
the first time I saw these were squirrels. Mom and dad were big squirrels, and there were little squirrels. There were 6 of them.
Right.
I'm like, who does this? Honey, it's time for another squirrel.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we had twins. We're gonna get 2 squirrels on the back of the truck.
Oh, they got to look just alike. No, I've seen all, but those. Now people are doing it with pets. How many pets
I did have a pet thing. So let me tell this real quick. So we're busting our tail through Anaheim's airport, and there's a Pyrenees white dog, a giant dog on a leash, and then another Labrador or golden retriever. And these 2 old dudes are walking these dogs with leashes, and they got the harness on them and all that stuff.
Right.
And so I'm trying to keep up with my group because I'm the tail behind the kids, to make sure we're
just
all
kind of
And this guy's just sauntering along with the dog, like, "Hey, look at me, I got dogs," And I'm like, "Excuse me, sir, I got to get by you." And then he goes, "Oh, well, I'm sorry." He pulls one. He said that. He goes, "I'm so sorry." And then I was like, "I'm going to chuck your old man into the aisle if you don't watch it." So I'm sitting down at the chair with Sheila and these dogs. I'm like, "Look at this guy. He's just doing this for attention." Well, there's this Anaheim Paws group, apparently.
Yes, I knew you were going.
And these guys go to the airport to help people with less stress. I'm like,
just de-stress.
So we get on the plane. There must have been 50 dogs on this plane.
Good Lord, I don't get that.
So I have this theory. If it fits in a carry-on pouch, you can bring the dog. But if it doesn't, you got to check it. That's a period. You got to check the dog.
Well, and a lot of airlines won't check them anymore because there was it's been a number of times in the late 90s, dogs were dying on the tarmac and under the planes from the heat.
Yeah, well,
So
my sister had a Yankee or Dixie, I can't remember which one of it was. It was a golden retriever, and they had to not euthanize it. They had to dope it, try, what do you call
yeah,
it? They give it a
yeah, yeah,
downer. And
right.
then they put it in this cardboard
Sedative,
crate. Yeah, sedative.
right,
And it was horrible for the animal. I mean, I think
right.
here's the close. I think with this, what do you call those dogs? What do you call them?
Uh, oh,
Service
uh,
dogs.
yeah,
I think what they've done is they figured out that, like my mother-in-law, for example, she has a little schnauzer. If
right,
if she leaves out of town, we either have to take the schnauzer and
right.
keep it, or she's got to take it to the kennel, and it's like $40 a night, right?
Yeah, it's expensive.
Yeah, and so by doing this, I don't know if it's opened up a whole new fly marketplace, but all these old ladies now have these dogs, and so it's $40 a night. They can bring it with them.
Yeah, they just tag it. They get some doctor to write up a prescription for emotional support animal, and they bring them
Yeah,
on. But airlines are starting to crack down on it now because
they need
people
to
were
quit
showing
it.
up with turkeys and pigs
Yeah,
and you call it
goats.
their emotional support animal. And it's like, listen, if you can't fly without some emotional support animal, then maybe you shouldn't, like you said, maybe you shouldn't be flying. Maybe
That's
stick
what
to the
drinking's
car,
all about.
train.
That's why you
Yeah,
order a
what happened to
couple
that?
cocktails.
Yeah, have you had a cocktail at the airport lately? You can't afford it. You got to take out a
No,
loan against your home
no,
to go to
water's
drink it
so
there.
the kids are like, I can't buy the water's $4, Mr. Theus. I'm like, yeah, welcome to the airport.
Just go over there to the water fountain to fill your water bottle and have at it. So, well, we ran out of time this week, Dave. It is time to say goodnight.
Well, it was a good one. We
Huh?
didn't get a chance to talk about our raging
Oh, that's right. We'll have to
viewership,
bring that up.
not
And
subscribers per se, but viewership,
yeah, and people seem to like
the library story.
the library caper story,
We'll
and
do a
there's
follow up.
more to it. We some of our listeners have reached out maybe on their perspective of things. I'm trying to find the author of the article in the UCF newspaper that I posted. Her name, I assume it was a her, Janine Burnham. So if anybody knows the whereabouts of Janine Burnham, please let her know. We'd love to interview her on the show about her take of the whole thing and how Dave lied to her right to her face on the phone when he said, "No, we have no idea who the
No, that's not a
library
First
employee."
Amendment right. You're crazy. Fake news.
So
I don't know if
no,
I'm prepared for that
it'd be funny
reunion.
if we could. I've googled her name and such, and unfortunately, not much information.
Well,
She's
I
ghosted the
have a little
internet.
bit a better way of doing things. So off the air, give me your proper spelling of her name, and I'll do a little
Okay.
research. But
Okay.
anyway, do check us out on all of our platforms. I did listen to one of our episodes over my, what do you call this box? My Alexa voice thing. What do you call it?
Oh, the pod.
Alexa, what
Puck.
do you call yourself?
I'm Alexa, but you can call me your trusty sidekick. I do all my own stunts.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name
Yeah,
of it
whatever
now.
that thing, voice activated thing. I listened to an entire episode the other day.
Yeah,
On
you
that.
can just say, play me an episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody, and she will do it.
Yeah, you got to ask for. So here's what I did. I said, please play the most recent episode of We Can Help with Dave and Woody at podcast, and she played it.
Yep.
So do that. Spotify, Spreaker.
Walk into your neighbor's home, say it on their machine.
Yeah, just
do wherever you can.
There's a smart neighborhood. Just scream it down the streets.
Right. Get your PA speaker out and just say, hey, Alexa, blah, blah, blah. And we'll be good to go.
All right. And then,
all right, say goodnight.
Go to YouTube. Well, we got to push
yes.
the YouTube bullshit. So we're.
Thanks.
Okay, Alexa, be quiet. She's sassy. Anyway, yeah, YouTube. Smash the
All right.
All right, we're out here.
All
Let's
right.
see if I can do this right without messing this up.
Say goodnight first. You didn't say goodbye.
Oh, yeah, I got to make sure I stop recording.
Oh, my God.
All right, good night, Gracie.
Good night.